What's going on here today is the Digitas NewFront. This is our 5th annual NewFront. We were just talking about numbers. We've gone from 5 years ago hosting 125 of our top clients to having 750 clients in the room today, 750 people, half of which are brand marketers in the room. So we've got a program today around big content, and so we've sort of, we've moved from 3 years ago talking about fandemonium and likes and how do you start a social program for a brand to, the pipes opening up last year. This year is about big content. It's about the largeness of everything content related, the amount of content that's out there, the amount of data, the amount of the analytics around that data, the amount of consumption, the quality of the content, and the amount of challenges and expectations and opportunities for brands.
So tell us about, when you say big, what about big around video? Let's talk about that for a minute, and that's been a big part of it. So what's happening with video, premium video, longer form video, and what do you expect to be bubbling up here?
Well, I feel that longer form is sort of, it's one of those genres that is described by big, because I think we're getting, and this makes me personally very, very happy to think that we're going to be developing some longer form content. I think this year, 2012 going into 2013 is the year for long form. Last night I'm already working on an idea for a documentary with a major brand, news that we'll probably talk about in a couple of months, but we're getting into programming. We're getting into longer form documentaries sponsored by brands, very relevant, meaningful, or documentaries for brands who need to tell their story. Can't do it in a half an hour, can't do it through social channels and tweeting, and need that longer format to sort of dig into some tough questions. So I'm really looking forward to long format, even some filmmaking.
Cool, and you have a lot of big portals now in the NewFronts this week. So my question is, for this original long form, bigger content, does that necessarily have to surface on the YouTube or Yahoo or AOL? What are the platforms for distribution for this new content?
The platforms for distribution are just limitless. So of course the big portals are always involved in new programming and distribution and sort of that reach that we need. But I think we've always thought about an equation. So we think about the large portals, the reach that we get there, but we also think about the smaller, the more the local big reach that we can get. So it's about mass participation, in any way that we can get to that mass participation with smart engagement is the way we're going to do it. So we find distribution outlets that sort of match that equation that we need for that particular audience, and we never go with one distribution outlet. It doesn't make sense for us. It makes sense to be where the audience is, and that means there are several ways to get there.
Well, and one last question. There's been a lot of discussion about GRP and reach, and that's been embraced. AOL spoke about it last week, and that the whole engagement thing is great, but sometimes it's hard to quantify, and the agencies are not necessarily comfortable. How do you value this online video experience as engagement versus reach?
I think engagement is a quality made up of many qualities. So if you think about, in fact, we're going to announce very shortly something called ROCI, Return on Content Investment. It's something that my group is working on very closely with some technology companies, with some other partners, where we're really breaking down this word engagement and thinking about all the variables that go into it, from awareness to sentiment to sharing, everything across the board. That's what it takes now. It takes a dissection of that word. We figure out all the variables around it, and in the end, that adds up to an engagement measure that's meaningful. And that will be tailored for every brand, because engagement for every brand is different. So look forward to that.